All right, guys, so we are going to move on to multiplying with decimals. And more specifically on this example, you're going to be working with multiplying a whole number by a decimal. Now, when we do this, notice here that we don't line up decimal points when we multiply decimals. Instead, we just line up the number on the very right. So it just looks normal. So even though this one, the value of this one is 1/100th, and this value of 6 is 6, it doesn't matter. We just line them up on the very right. So we line them up and kind of forget about our decimal point for the time being and just multiply like normal. So it's everything you've been working on since third grade. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 5 is 23. Now we have to figure out where to put the decimal point because it's not always going to line up. It might be in a different place than what you're seeing right here. So what you do is you look at the number that has the decimal point. In this equation, there's only one number with decimal points. On the next problem, you'll learn what to do when there's multiple numbers with decimal points. But for this one, we just look at the one with decimal points, which is 3 and 91/100ths. And we notice that there are two numbers to the right of the decimal point. That means we're going to take our decimal. We're always going to start it at the very end of our answer, and we're going to move it to the left 2 times. So that looked a little funny how my mouse worked that, but we're going to start here and go 1, 2, and that's where our decimal point goes. So 3 and 91/100ths times 6 is 23 and 46/100ths. Now let's go over one because I know that can be a little bit confusing. So here we have 3 times 16 thousandths. So I'm going to go ahead and put 0.016. And remember, we don't line up the decimal, so 3 is just going to go right here because we line them up in that manner. And we multiply. So 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 3 times 0 is 0, and 3 times 0 is 0. So I end up really with right now it looks like 48, but we know that's not accurate because we have to do the next step, which is see how many numbers are to the right of the decimal point. So I see the decimals here, so I have 1, 2, and 3. So that means I need to take my decimal and move it 3 places to the left. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to place my decimal. I always like to rewrite my answer. And so my answer would look like this. It would be 48 thousandths.